Have you ever opened your closet, found an old sweater you never wear, and thought, I can't get rid of this. It's mine. Or maybe you've tried selling an old phone online and were shocked that buyers offered less than what you thought it was worth. This isn't just sentimentality, it's psychology. What you're experiencing is called the endowment effect, and it reveals why letting go of things feels so hard. The endowment effect is a cognitive bias where people assign more value to things simply because they own them. The classic research comes from psychologists Daniel Kahneman, Jack Knetsch, and Richard Thaler. In one of their famous experiments, participants were given a simple coffee mug. When asked how much they'd sell it for, owners wanted about twice as much as non-owners were willing to pay. The object itself didn't change, but ownership transformed its value. The brain is wired to see ownership as part of identity. Once something is mine, it's no longer just an object, it's a reflection of me. Losing it feels like losing a part of myself. This is also tied to loss aversion, a concept from behavioral economics. We tend to fear losing something we already have much more than we desire gaining something new. In other words, giving up feels worse than acquiring feels good. Think about your attic, basement, or closet. Many of us hold on to items long past their usefulness. A stack of old magazines, broken gadgets, childhood toys, or clothes that don't fit anymore. Rationally, we know they're just taking up space. But emotionally, letting go feels like a loss. The endowment effect also shows up in relationships. Sometimes, people stay in friendships or even romantic relationships that no longer bring joy simply because they've already invested time, effort, or memories. Ownership doesn't always mean objects. It can mean experiences too. And what about selling things? Have you ever listed something on eBay or a secondhand app and felt offended when buyers offered a much lower price than you expected? That's the endowment effect in action. You believe it's worth more simply because it's yours. Marketers and companies understand this bias and often use it against us. Free trial periods, test drives, or try before you buy strategies make customers feel ownership before they've even purchased. Once you start to feel like the product is yours, you value it more and are less likely to give it up. Even small things, like customization of sneakers, mugs, or phone cases, strengthen the sense of ownership, increasing how much people are willing to pay. IKEA furniture is another example. When you build it yourself, the sense of effort plus ownership makes you value it more, a related bias called the IKEA effect. At the heart of the endowment effect is emotion. A mug, a t-shirt, or a house isn't just an object. It carries memories, identity, and meaning. That's why decluttering can feel emotionally draining. Getting rid of an object sometimes feels like erasing part of your story. The good news is, awareness helps. When you catch yourself holding on too tightly to something, ask, if I didn't already own this, how much would I pay for it today? Am I keeping this because it's useful or just because it's mine? Would I advise a friend to hold on to this if they were in my position? These simple questions create psychological distance and reduce the bias. Minimalism movements also encourage us to challenge the endowment effect by focusing on value, not just ownership. Decluttering isn't just about having less, it's about being more intentional with what you keep. The endowment effect reminds us that ownership is powerful, but it can also hold us back. Letting go of things, whether objects, habits, or even outdated beliefs, can feel hard because our minds trick us into overvaluing what's already ours. But remember, letting go isn't losing. Sometimes it's creating space for something new. So next time you struggle to part with that old sweater or gadget, pause and ask yourself, do I truly value this, or do I just value it because it's mine?